My name's Cory White. Go. Okay, now we're recording. I'll start over. My name's Cory White. I am an environmental health and safety consultant. I specifically help small businesses, right, with kind of the environmental health and safety regulations, which I think Yellowbird helps a lot with that, right? The kind of those additional resources that are needed for a company on the environmental health and safety route, right? Like offering that surge support is something that Yellowbird does really well, and something that I do for like my local area. So I'm located up in Wisconsin. And like I said, I mostly help small businesses kind of underneath that 200 employee mark. And kind of what happened was, right, there was just a lot of need out there, right? And I think Yellowbird kind of identified this need as well, that there's just a need for safety professionals to offer sort of that surge support. And I ended up getting busy pretty quickly. And so I was like, okay, well, I need certain tools, right, to sort of automate things. So for me personally, right, I have a heart for small businesses. I needed to figure out a way to, first off, get the work done, find a way to communicate well with my clients, and be able to use tools to keep my prices affordable for small businesses, right? I think that was like the biggest thing. And over a couple of years here, 2.5 years of doing this work, I've found some really great sort of technology tools, artificial intelligence tools to use, right? So you don't have to go and hire a bunch of, people to support you, and then all of a sudden your overhead gets really big, right? You can like service a ton of people, provide a ton of really like great value using some of these tools that are mostly free, and some the charges are pretty small overall. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today, is just like the best practices that I've used in my consulting practice, so we can just continue to push, right, safety, health, and environmental like best practices forward, right, throughout industry, right? So we're protecting the environment, we're saving people, from injuries, from fatalities, and we're also, right, making businesses more profitable, right? It's kind of that win-win mentality. So I'm going to get into the presentation now. So here are the tools that I use, okay, to just get more done while keeping people safe and protecting the environment. The tools that I'm going to be talking about today, I think everyone's kind of heard of ChatGPT, okay, it's a big one, kind of trendy word, so we'll talk about that. Talk about Canva, we'll talk about Loom, Murph AI, using a learning management system, and then using an EHS software. So you might ask like how I am part of ProAct EHS. I'm a consultant with ProAct EHS. It's not my consulting practice, but it's a software, right, that sort of helps bring a lot of these tools together. So I got involved with them because they provide, they're providing a software solution for small businesses at an affordable price, right? So that's the reason why I'm sort of linked with ProAct EHS. So to get started, ChatGPT. I'm guessing most people on the call has probably heard of this, right? It's kind of artificial intelligence that takes a bunch of information on the internet and can kind of summarize it for you. So think of like a Google search, but way smarter, right? It can kind of spit out that information back to you, okay? And it keeps on getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And initially, like OpenAI, which is where ChatGPT came from, was kind of open, right? But now there's sort of a revenue model with it and things like that. So mostly for what we would use it for, the free version is going to be fine, because as of like, I think it's September of 2021, it doesn't have any information newer than that. But a lot of like the regulations we're dealing with have been around since before then, right? So you can see here, I'm asking it to summarize the kind of fall protection standard for construction, right? And can kind of summarize that for me. You can also ask it to like, hey, summarize this complicated legal document at like a fifth grade reading level, right? So I think that's pretty powerful. And you think about like on that note, right? Like for training, right? Like for training for employees, we want to make sure to get that down to that fifth grade reading level, right? So we have a true understanding of kind of what's going on. Unfortunately, how laws are written in the United States and just across the world are complicated in nature. They're written by lawyers that have been in school for a really, really long time, right? So if we can figure out a way to get that to a more sort of palatable sort of level, that's something that ChatGPT can be used for, and does a really great job of that. kind of on the note of ChatGPT, there's other really great tools that are coming out as well. And there's one that I'd like to show here, and that is Microsoft's Copilot. Okay. So Copilot is pretty much the same thing as ChatGPT, except it's through like your Microsoft Bing. Okay. So if you go to like msn.com or bing.com, right, there's a little symbol right here that says Copilot. You can click on that and you can simply come in here and ask it a question, right? So I can come in here, ask it to summarize lockout tagout standard in 3 sentences at a 5th grade reading level, and it's going to spit out a response for me, right? So from a high level, again, it's really great for taking complicated things, narrowing them down. You can ask him to, let's say, hey, I want to get some training, kind of a training outline, right? You can ask it to do a training outline for you for fall protection, something like that. So ChatGPT or Bing are both great options for sort of those types of things. I would say it's a great, like, I would call it like a virtual assistant, but it's a pretty dumb one overall. Okay. So like, by no means is AI going to take any of our jobs, right? It's just going to make us better at what we do. But I certainly would not rely on AI alone to like give legal advice by any means, right? You still need to do some more interpreting, but it can do a great job of sort of taking the things you want to be talking about and bringing it to a level of understanding that your employees would see. The next one we'll talk about is Canva. So maybe a lot of people have heard of Canva too. I would say it's probably the second most popular tool that I kind of hear of. And it's just kind of adding pizzazz to your content. So kind of in the video here that's playing, you can kind of see a toolbox talk that you can come in here, customize, kind of create a template with like a company logo or anything like that, kind of customize it as needed. Right. And you can make that into like a PDF or something. And then you can be like presenting that to your employees, like in a great visual way. Right. Like if anyone has ever seen The Office, right. Like Dwight Schrute says it well, PowerPoint is boring, right. It puts people to sleep. Okay. So finding new ways to add kind of that pizzazz, you know, so instead of a PowerPoint, all of a sudden you have something, you know, like this presentation I'm presenting now is in Canva, right? That has like this working video to keep people kind of engaged as you're doing your video. It's just another way, right? You can kind of reincorporate environmental health and safety into people's minds, okay, at a high level. So, you know, again, think of toolbox talks, think of, you know, postings to market your safety, think of, you know, videos that you could use and, you know, put it in like a cool template, right? So that's kind of the power of Canva. It's just, again, making it a little bit more visually appealing for your employees, right? So we can engage them in a slightly different way. Loom is the next one. Loom is one that I feel like not that many people have heard about, but it's just so powerful. Okay. So I think Loom, for me, the most powerful thing that I've really liked about Loom is just the ability to like not have to schedule a bunch of meetings. Okay. So, you know, with having multiple different clients, being able to try to like coordinate all of these schedules and everything, it's just very difficult to sort of get on a Zoom call with all of the people that need to be a part of every single meeting when you have, you know, 10 clients or something. So Loom is a great way where you can just take a video recording, okay, of like your screen, show them exactly what you want to do and send that in an email, okay? So it's a great way to sort of summarize exactly what you want. And again, without having to schedule that meeting. So I'm going to exit out of here and just kind of show you my summary from 2023. So you can see, right, I recorded over 165 videos and eliminated 24 meetings. Okay, so again, that's just so powerful. And it just has saved me so much time, right? I can just provide that much more value to my clients. My communication with my clients is just that much better because, right, you know, I'm not just typing something, I'm actually talking through it, and I can actually share my screen and show them like step by step what exactly I need them to do, right? So very powerful. And then obviously too, Loom, right? Here's kind of my Loom library. You can see all of the different videos in here. You can also use it, right, to create engaging. You can also use it to create like trainings, right? So a training video instead of like an in-person PowerPoint, maybe you have like a remote staff and you're using like a learning management system. This is an easy way to go ahead and kind of create a training video. And within here, you're going to see within the video, I can actually take the transcript. So I'm just speaking words right out loud. It will automatically transcribe the words that I'm saying. I can copy that and then use it for the next tool. Okay. And the next tool is Murph AI. Excuse me. Murph AI is pretty cool. It's an AI narration, right? So you put in a script, okay, and it actually says it. You don't have to do it yourself. So this is a great way if you're shy in front of the camera or something like that and don't want to like, I don't know, you have a bunch of like, you say like a lot or a lot or something like that, and you want it to be a little bit more polished, the video to be a little bit more polished, right? You can create a script, dump it into Murph AI here, and Murph AI will then sort of say the words for you, and it's not gonna mess up as long as the script is correct. And then all you do is you link that. You can kind of see on the video now, you can link it with the specific slides, right? And a great way to sort of offer like different languages as well is to use this Murph AI as well. So for some of my clients, we have a Spanish workforce. And so we use, her name is Lola in the Murph AI solution. And she does a great job of having sort of more of an authentic Spanish speaking voice, right? That's kind of fluid and whatnot, instead of maybe having a native English speaker sort of talk through those as well. One thing I found out though through this, because I think, as you can see on the screen here, this is the Spanish version. Translation from English to Spanish. Initially I thought, hey, I can just put this in Google Translate or ChatGPT or something like that. It's going to translate it, and I'm going to be able to put it in Murph AI and call it good. I found out that's just not good enough. Okay, I found out that right when we're trying to bring all of this content down to kind of that 5th grade reading level for our employees, when we did just a simple translate, it just doesn't work. Like it just doesn't make sense at that sort of 5th grade reading level. So what I have found out to be helpful is just like have someone actually translate it, that's, you know, a native speaker or that knows both languages. I have an old Spanish teacher that used to teach in the school. She translates it for me, and then I put it into Murph AI. And then, you know, Lola here on Murph AI can speak it well and kind of have a nice polished video after the fact. So just want to give an FYI out there. If you're thinking of translating all of your content from English to Spanish, it's worth the money to hire a real translator to make sure that it actually makes sense for your employees. Okay. But again, Murph AI is very powerful. I'm going to flip into that quick, and you can kind of just see some of the trainings that I'm doing. So doing some emergency response trainings, right? Some different racking trainings. We've got some how-to videos for sort of user-facing heat and cold stress. And you can see here, right, we have some of these Spanish-speaking ones sprinkled in here that we're slowly doing for one of the clients. So again, very powerful, allows you to offer, kind of gives you that next step after Loom, right, to give you a more polished training video. All right, the next one, an online learning solution. So maybe a lot of you have a learning management system already, but if you don't, you know, just doing some basic math here, right? Like, let's say you have, like for me, for example, if I have 10 clients with 100 employees, right, and 10 different OSHA standards to follow, right? That's 10 times 100 times 10. That's a lot of pieces of paper to keep track of, right? So using a learning management system can keep track of all that paperwork for you on the training front, right? It doesn't include forms and all of those things, but at least you can like take videos, put them in there, and provide sort of a standardized way for your employees to kind of see the information, right? So, you know, all of the employees are getting the same information. So LearnDash is a tool that you can use. You can create your own learning management system at a very, very affordable price. It's a simple add-on to WordPress, a WordPress site. So I would say on the hardness scale, if it was like a t-shirt scale, it's probably an extra large sort of hardness to be able to figure that out. But it's going to take some calling and things like that. But if you're willing to do the work, you can get a system like this for, I mean, pennies on the dollar compared to getting a full-time like learning management solution through like a vendor or something like that. Okay, so LearnDash is really cool because there's some things obviously you can see in the video. You can click into like the video for the user. There's certifications, there's videos in there, there's the quizzes, right? That you can kind of have a limit, say like 80%, so you can kind of verify the competence of your employees, which is really great. And you can also create groups. So I'm going to jump out of here and just kind of show you what that looks like. So I'm in the admin side of this, right? So if I would click on here, I'd go back to the employee side. But here I can kind of run course reports, user reports, and things like that. But I think one of the more powerful things is you can create what are called groups in here. And I know it's going to be kind of hard to see on the screen, but you can kind of see this client has about 100 people in it. You'll see there's a huge remote workforce. So there's 62 people that are remote, and they're only assigned 4 courses, right? So we're not assigning every single course to them because a lot of it's not going to apply. Where if you take a look at like R&D here, right, there's 19 employees and there's 10 courses because they're just more high risk. Okay, they need lockout, tagout, they need respiratory protection and those sorts of things. So including these groups is really, really valuable because it doesn't waste employees' times and you're getting the right information to the right employees. And in addition to that, I have a different client that is also in this, and we have Spanish speakers as a group, right? And also English speakers as a group too. So you can kind of divvy it up that way as well. So this is LearnDash. And finally, shameless plug here for the ProAct system. You can use any EHS software system. Obviously, this is ProAct that I'm demonstrating here, but right, just automating more of your environmental health and safety tasks, right? Making sure all of your documentation, right, is on there. Think of lockout, tagout procedures and things for employees, right? Instead of going to the office and grabbing those, they can take out their mobile device, have your lockout, tagout procedure, boom, right on your phone, so you can take a look at that. Right? Think of toolbox talks, right? You want to sort of, maybe you have a remote workforce or technicians in the field and you want to sort of get more like information and kind of drip feed that safety, right? Put toolbox talks, they can look at that on their mobile device. Think of forms, right? Making your hot work permit form right on your mobile device, your forklift inspections, right? Maybe your audit inspections, all of that can be completed, like put right onto a system, okay? So again, you're eliminating all of that paperwork. I would say for the most part, like 75% of like what I was doing for my clients, I could automate, okay? I could automate, have it being done kind of like in the background because a lot of it was just documentation, paperwork, and things like that. And what's really great about that is I was able to just provide more value for my client, right? I could really focus in on those things that could kill someone, right? That could permanently injure someone, that would be maybe a permanent damage to the environment, right? Kind of those catastrophic risks we were able to sort of focus in on because I didn't need to do all of that administrative mumbo jumbo anymore, right? Like we actually got to use the time for the value added things, okay? And one other thing here, compliance calendar, right? Get a system that has a compliance calendar that automatically spits out exactly what you need to do each month, right? So if you have a client that has 10 OSHA standards that need to be looked at, right? Get something that has a compliance calendar that says like, all right, January, you're going to do lockout, tagout. February, you're going to do forklift, right? Automatically spits out everything you need to do. So you get away from those spreadsheets altogether. So I'm just going to bring it all together now. Okay. So all these tools, right, can kind of work together to automate a lot of what you need to do. So excuse me. Think of ChatGPT or Bing AI, right? You can use that tool to kind of create the content, okay? Kind of create the text. You can use Canva, right, to create more engaging content, right? Kind of give it that pizzazz. You can then use Loom to sort of at a high level, sort of talk through that, take that script, that transcript, right? Put it into Murph AI, right? Kind of like it is right now on the screen. You put it in the Murph AI, you align your slides, you put that into a learning management solution, okay? You have a nice video for your employees to see that's consistent. And then you throw that into, you tie that into an environmental health and safety software system that sort of provides the analytics and kind of ties all of those solutions together, okay? So that's kind of how they can work, right? So think of like an example of like fall protection, right? Let's say, I've got fall protection that I want to do. I can ask ChatGPT, hey, give me a transcript of what I should be talking about. You go to Canva, you can kind of create the slides to go with that. I use Loom to talk through that transcript of each of the different things, and I can kind of add site-specific information in there to kind of take it to that next level. And then I would throw that into Murph AI with the slides, right? And then from there, I would put it all into the ProAct system. That's what I use for my clients. And right, they would have all of their trainings, and then any forms that I'm referring to within that training, right, all of that would be located in one spot on their mobile device. So they have one spot to go to for all of their environmental health and safety sort of needs. So I'm going to pause there really quickly, and I think we don't have too many people on the call, so I think we can stop, and if you just want to unmute and ask any questions, that would be great.
Hi, yes. For each of these services, you recommend that we could use it for free. How about Canva? I've had trouble using Canva for free, but maybe that one should be purchased.
Yeah, so I can kind of go through each one of these. So ChatGPT obviously is free, and there is an upgrade for that, but I would say if you're going to upgrade, try the Bing first. It's a little bit more advanced, and then see if you need to upgrade it. Canva, yes, there is a free version, but if you want to kind of take, like, there's a lot of things that you can't do, like there's a lot of templates that you can't use on Canva unless you have sort of the free version. And if you buy sort of the upgrade, you'll also have access to a bunch of like pictures, videos, and things like that you don't have to deal with. Some bigger like businesses don't want you to like do the copyright stuff, right? Like there's copyright issues. So that's where if you upgrade to Canva, you can do that. I personally have upgraded Canva because I just use it so much that it just was easier for me. I can't remember how much that is off the top of my head, but it's very affordable. I think it's like $10 or $15 a month or something like that. It's not too bad.
Okay.
Loom, again, you can use this for free. I've upgraded Loom. I pay, I think it's like $250 or something like that for a whole year to use this. So again, very affordable tool, but again, it can be used for free. And I used it for free for a long time until I just wanted a couple more features. Murph AI, this is one where you can do the free version. The free sort of voices are very bad and robotic. So this one is $30 a month. So again, it's not the end of the world by any means. And I would say this one saves me so much time that it's worth the money every single time, right? Just importing that script, very easy. Excuse me. LearnDash. I think if you get like a developer to make it for you or something like that, or you try to do it yourself, I would say it's probably going to range anywhere from $200 to, I don't know, $2,000 or something like that. If you like hired someone to do it. But overall, it's like pretty affordable. And if you really just like took time to do it yourself, you just have to pay for sort of that attachment, which I think is anywhere from that $200 to $400 range, depending on the plugins that you need within that.
Okay, so but the that one you just had the LearnDash, that is per class, so it's like $200 per class, or
so yeah, let me
platform?
yep. So this is like a learning management system, Okay,
Yeah.
so you'd be able to put like your content in the system.
Mhm.
Um, and then you can, like, if you're a consultant, you could charge per class within that if you wanted to, but this would be your learning management system that would sort of be blank. And then you would need to upload all of your videos within here. So all the videos that you see on the screen are, there's a kind of this generic one that I create for like all of the clients, but then I go through and I actually create this next one here is the site specific for this specific client. So this is all stuff that I've uploaded into the system myself.
And so you have the clients actually purchase LearnDash or?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Yeah. So I hire someone to make it for me. It costs usually around, I can't remember, a couple years ago it was around $1,000. And then to manage it and things like that, I add some money on top of that for my client, right? It's to pay for the time that I've needed to spend to sort of set up the system and whatnot. So that's what I've used in the past. I don't use this one as much anymore, just because it's a third party thing, and sometimes they're kind of hard to get a hold of if there is an issue. But again, for the price, it's really hard to beat using this.
Okay.
Good question.
Cory, I do have a question. Is there anything within these platforms that you wish they would have more of, or is there anything that these platforms are lacking that you would like to see?
Yeah, so on this learning management solution, LearnDash, the reason I kind of upgraded to sort of the ProAct system has the learning management system in it, is there was no way of like automatically assigning, like, let's say lockout tagout on an annual basis. There's no way for it to like automatically sort of like generate a new one for the next year. And there's no way to like notify people by email that they needed to like go into the system and things were like assigned to them. So that's where I kind of upgraded with my clients to this, because I wanted to use forms and actions and things like that with them anyways. But now within like the ProAct system, like they get the emails automatically. They just go to their email, they click on the link in the email, and it takes them to the system, shows them exactly what they need. So I think on that one, that's something that I upgraded because of that. The clients pay a little bit more for the EHS software, but they get, for the price, they get so much more from just like a learning management system. I would say Murph AI, it's not perfect, right? AI is by no means perfect. Sometimes I have to go through, you can kind of see like the things on the screen here that are kind of highlighted. Let me see here if I can pause this. That are highlighted here, like CAS number. It didn't want to say CAS for some reason. So, you have to go and kind of make it pronounce it better. So again, I would say Murph AI gets probably you 95% of the way there, but there's still like more room for improvement for sure on that front. Loom, I don't have, I just love Loom. I don't really have many complaints on this. It's really great. What's nice is when you like send a video, you can choose to send it at like 1.2 times or 1.5 times. So like people can like watch your video, but way quicker. So I just really like that. Canva, I wish they had more templates like specific to safety, right? So here's like the templates. They didn't have that many great templates for safety, so I kind of had to like take one and modify it for safety. But once you do that once, you can just continue to reuse it. Like this toolbox talk, I just continue to reuse and reuse and reuse, right? Like for fall protection and things like that. And then ChatGPT, it is what it is. It's fine. It gets you, again, 75, 80% of the way there. I would say, just as a warning to everyone, right? Don't be putting personal information in here, right? Like company sensitive information, because, it's collecting data all the time. That's how it learns. So just be cautious, right? When you're doing something like that, there's certain risks associated with using AI in that way. And then finally, on the LearnDash solution, since it's a simple plugin for a WordPress site, sometimes for larger clients, it won't pass all of their security requirements if you need to like do an API connection with them. So that's where, again, for some of the clients, I had to upgrade to this because they had things like single sign-on and those sorts of capabilities that are needed in order to actually do that API connection, where like in the personnel here, the personnel list can automatically sort of be fed in there, or else I always have to do that manually, right?
Great, thank you for that feedback, Cory.
Yep.
If anyone else has any other questions, please feel free to unmute yourself, or you can always type them in the chat box as well. Alrighty, well, it looks like everyone has asked the questions that have any. If any of you would like to connect with Cory, please feel free to do so on LinkedIn. I did drop that link in the chat box. Otherwise, thank you all so much for joining, and Cory, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today. Thank you all so much and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. See ya.
Thank you.